What's up, everybody? Welcome to the video. My name is Yvonne. I'm an emergency medicine doctor, and this YouTube channel is where we use experiences in the hospital, in real life, through travel, through experiences, to talk about the deeper things, the life lessons we're learning. Today's video is about learning, right? You're never too old to learn. And this came to me because I started doing Spanish. I started learning Spanish, and I was talking to somebody about Spanish, and they're like, man, I wish I learned Spanish as a kid. I was like, you didn't learn it as a kid, but why don't you learn it now? Well, it's just harder, but but you should learn it now. You still have an opportunity. And a lot of times when we get older, we go into this like limited mindset that if we didn't learn it before, it's not worth it anymore, as if our brains just stopped developing. And I'm here to tell you that you can learn anything. You have to keep developing, keep self-developing if you want to be who you want to be in this life, right? So guys, really quick throwback. I remember the first time I ever learned that I could learn something and do something consistently and get better was like in 7th grade. I was always like a skinny twig, right? Had big head, little neck, little shoulders. Just sit here like you could tip me over. I was just lopsided, right? So in 7th grade, my older brother took me to the gym, and we used to live in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota. Went to this place called Cretin-Derham Hall. It was a high school my brother took me to. We started lifting weights. I don't even think we knew what we were doing. We were just lifting things up and down, doing squats, doing deadlifts, doing Romanian deadlifts, all these different things, RDLs. And after just consistently lifting, just picking up something and putting it down and eating a little bit of food, right? I didn't know anything about diet or anything, but I gained weight. It was the first time I saw like a 6-pack. I saw muscles on my shoulders. I saw like muscles on my neck even. I was like, wow, like I'm a different person. I got to 8th grade. Listen, I was over there arm wrestling. I was the next level. I was next level, right? So I was like, wow, like I can learn. I can just put in consistent effort, and I can actually learn how to improve my body. I can change something for myself. And I was like, wow, that was like the first time I ever did something for myself. It was like from when I went from being a kid to actually being like a teenager, right? Someone that can influence the universe, influence my physical reality. Similar thing happened is like I used to always have crooked teeth. Right? My teeth were like up and down, and we would roast in school. People had all kinds of jokes, right? Someone said my teeth were like my front teeth were in 5th grade. My second teeth were like in 2nd grade because like my teeth were forward and some were behind, and it was a mess, guys, right? But obviously I stopped caring. My confidence came from other things. But then in college, I got braces, right? My dad got me braces, my teeth straightened up, and now I could smile. Now I wasn't in photos just like, I was smiling like a real one, And I was like, wow, like you can change your teeth. You can change your teeth. You can gain weight. You can get muscle. You can learn a new language. You can actually do things. And I know it sounds like just like the most silly thing, right? But like there comes a moment in your life where you realize like, okay, I do have some control over stuff. Like I can actually improve. I can actually do something with my life. I knew a buddy that had a stutter. This guy speaks better than I do now, with clear consistency. He's consistent in his speech patterns, consistent in communicating. He's conscious about when he's stuttering, and now he no longer stutters. So like if you actually put in some effort, honestly, and if you actually just do that daily grind, that daily input, right? Things compound and you can actually get better at anything. Now, in getting better at anything, like what is the process of getting better? Because getting better is never just linear. You don't just do something and then get better increasingly. Like it's messy. Sometimes you get better, you come back, you come up, you come down. It's a messy stage of growth, but you just have to have that daily investment because it compounds, right? So for me, for example, right, like a few things I want to learn recently is like how to learn. Like when I got to medical school was one of the first 6-7 months of medical school was hard because I was sleeping 4 hours, but I was barely passing exams, right? My effort was not reflecting, and I didn't have another life. I didn't have a life. I couldn't go out. I couldn't, do any hobbies. I was just studying and like still barely making it. So I invested in myself. I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on like a learning course. I did this thing called I Can Study, a course based out in Australia, and it teaches you how to like put information into your brain, how to prime information, how to prepare your brain for it, how to make notes, how to make connections, how to connect information to prior things. And honestly, that's what taught me how to encode all this medical knowledge. Because medical school, you're taking, the equivalence is this. So in college, I went to a school, UC Riverside in Southern California. We had a quarter system, so 10-week quarters. And so everything you learn in 10 weeks, you may learn in a week and a half in medical school. So you need to have a process of putting all that stuff into your brain. I don't know about you, but it was hard for me. I had never learned that until I took that course, right? But in learning is a skill itself. So whenever you want to get better at any skill, you have to do a daily input, right? So every morning I would have my non-negotiables, meaning like every morning I wake up at 5 a.m. I have to do 15 to 20 minutes of learning my learning techniques. I have to implement learning techniques. I have to implement consistent studying. I have to implement the gym. I have to implement a language that I'm learning. And I would do that for 1 hour every day. And it was like a form of prayer for me. It was like the one thing I had to do. If I did that, then the day could be whatever, right? But just making sure that you have a routine every day, a consistent routine that you don't deviate from. And a year later, 2 years later, like now I can learn everything. I can take board exams. I can take extremely long exams. I can encode. I can teach my brain any language. I can teach my brain any skill set because I learn how to learn. First principles, learning how to learn. So there comes a time in life where you have to realize that like I can learn anything, you know, and that's the name of their company. I Can Study, because if you learn how to study, learn how to learn, the world is your oyster. So as long as you have a process, things are the sky's the limit. But yeah, don't just because you didn't learn Spanish or Russian or German or Mandarin as a kid doesn't mean you can't learn it now. You can't be mentally lazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, just taking that from my perspective, guys, you're never too old. It's never too late. Get after it. With that being said, that's the video, guys. See ya later.